Performing today's rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner is Miss Marla Morgan.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
Leading us today in the Pledge of Allegiance and our opening prayer will be former president of the Falls Creek Baptist Conference Center and the current conservative candidate for the 5th District of the U.S. House of Representatives, James Langford.
Salute the flag with me, would you please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Father, you are the one who put our nation together. You are the one who has sustained us.
The following takes place between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m.
In the picnic of life, he's your moist towelette. Sooner born, sooner bred. The most powerful news found on Oklahoma's airwaves is right here. This is Mullins in the Morning with Oklahoma's first news on News Radio 1000 KTOK. Depend on it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and all tea partiers extraordinaire, please give a warm and loud welcome to today's Master of Ceremonies for this afternoon's OKC Tea Party Final Countdown Get Out the Vote Rally, Mr. Reed Mullen.
Great to see you all out here. How many Americans do we have here? How many patriots do we have in the crowd? How many are going to stand up and say, I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore? I just cursed in front of about 16 pastors up here on stage. I'm sorry about that. Please forgive me. I'm mad as hell. The great Kyle Dillingham.
Everyone down, George. He was
Sea to shining sea, and he's right here in Yukon, Oklahoma, the pastor of Trinity Baptist Church, Dan Fisher.
April the 18th, 1775. Paul Revere riding through the street of Lexington, yelling, "The British are coming, the British are coming." Most people don't know he was headed to a pastor's house. That pastor's name was Jonas Clark. Jonas Clark had 2 guests in his house, Samuel Adams, John Hancock. That's why the British were marching on Lexington. And as Revere rode up into the yard of Clark's house, Adams and Hancock ran out to meet him. And they asked him, they said, "Pastor Clark, what will we do?" Pastor Clark had been training the men on Sunday afternoons how to fight and defend themselves for liberty. We know them as the Minutemen. And they looked at Pastor Clark, who was training these men. He said, "Well, the men fight." And he said, "I trained them for this very hour. They will fight, and if need be, they will die too under the shadow of the house of God." And he and a deacon by the name of John Parker, the very next morning, April the 19th, 1775, led the Minutemen out onto the green in Lexington. They faced the British. The British rode up and said, "Throw down your arms in the name of the King." And those men yelled back, "We have no sovereign but God and no king but Jesus." And the first shot of the American War of Independence was fired. The shot heard around the world. How many of you knew that those Minutemen were led by a pastor and a deacon? Did you know that? All right. Well, that's what we need today.
Gentlemen, the next Attorney General, Scott Pruitt.
Well, that's a great introduction, Reed, and I thank you for those very kind comments. And I'll tell you, the pastor that was just up here, I want to commend his leadership. Because to have a pastor that stands up and says that he's going to stand for the truth of the Constitution and the First Amendment, that what he teaches in his church, he's going to teach in the public square, we need to celebrate that, and we need to commend him for his leadership. And I want to say thank you to that pastor. And I want to say to you, as we gather here at the Capitol, I want to say this group is very encouraging. We're getting close, folks. We're just a few days away from, I hope, sending a message across the country of who's back in charge in America. You. Because when you look at the leadership in Washington, D.C. today, there's a mentality that comes out of Washington that says that they know best, that they want to run every aspect of our life, that they want to manage our life. They think they're smarter than we are, and they want to tell us what to do in every aspect. And I want to say to you, this movement that we're about is bigger than a party. It's not about Republican and Democrats. It's not about urban and rural. It's about a movement. It's about saying to the people in Washington, we're in control. You work for us. We don't work for you. And I want to say thank you for your leadership.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a true American patriot and American sweetheart, Victoria Jackson!
Thank you. Yay, Oklahoma! Freedom! I'm so honored to be here with these great guys like Fisher and this guy, Pruitt. If our Congress was full of them, what kind of a place would we live in, right? And it's possible. The sleeping giant has awakened. Oh, I realized that what they were teaching me in 7th grade at Dade Christian School in Miami, Florida, had come true in my lifetime. Communism had seeped in. And so I wrote a song about it. Oh, wait. This goes here. Can you hear me? It seems these days I'm in a haze and I can't concentrate on things. Can't eat or sleep, feel incomplete and kinda scared and creepy. I look over my shoulder lots and shudder. When I watch TV, I bite my nails and cuticles and watch my words very carefully. Flag at whitehouse.gov, remember that? Okay, they tried to jam communism down our throats and they got a little resistance, so it disappeared, right? They told us when he was trying to shove Obamacare down our throats, they said if your friends and neighbors disagree, report them to the government at flag@whitehouse.gov. I was shocked, so I called in, I reported myself twice. For real. I bite my lip. They're gonna kill me anyway. I'll make it easy for them. I bite my lip a lot and fidget with the buttons on my blouse. Why? Because there's a communist living in the White House. Somebody's gotta say it! And then one time I asked my neighbor, I said, what's it like to grow up in a communist country? And she said, well, I'll tell you. In kindergarten, they tell the little kids to bow their heads and close their eyes and ask God for candy. When the little kids open their eyes, there's no candy. And then they tell the little kids to bow their heads, close their eyes, and ask Castro for candy. And when they open their eyes, there's candy there. And I'm starting to smell that happening in my country. To say, I heard a great sermon this morning from Dan Fisher. And yeah, he said that if you're going to stand up for the Lord, that you're going to be attacked by the world, the flesh, and the devil. And the more you try to do for the Lord, the more intense there's going to be the fight, and I can feel it. And now, thank you. I would like to do a tribute to the veterans. We're so grateful that you risked your lives and died and got hurt for us and our freedom. And I made up a little poem, and I'm going to try to perform it upside down, even though I'm 51 years old. And if I can't, I'll do it right side up. Oh, I don't need this. It's called Ode to the Military by Victoria Jackson. Okay. Thank you for being so unselfish to fight for freedom for me. I admire your courage and bravery. I think of you often, and every time I see a flag, I ask God to protect you, and then I brag. We've got the best military in the world! Woo! Thank you! God bless America!
Okay. Join me in welcoming State Senator Randy Brogdon.
You know, there's an old Waylon Jennings song that the has a phrase in there that says, I'm addicted to America. How about you? Yeah. Listen, I'm addicted to freedom. I'm addicted to what this country has given each one of us. And it's our responsibility, folks, to protect it and to pass it down. I want to take you back for a minute to 1776. George Washington was getting ready to lead his troops across the Delaware and to fight the Battle of Trenton. I want to put this in perspective for you just for a moment, because Washington and his ragged army had just been defeated in 5 previous battles. It was December the 23rd, a bitter, bitter cold winter. And Washington did something on December the 23rd. He called his troops to attention. And he wanted them to hear a message from Thomas Paine. And it was a message that those soldiers sorely needed. They had fought those 5 previous battles, and they had lost. And they were discouraged. They were beaten down. They were hungry. They were homesick. But Thomas Paine shared these words with those soldiers just before they were ready to cross the Delaware and fight that Battle of Trenton. Thomas Paine said this: the summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will in this time of crisis shrink back from the service of their country. You see, the mantle now has fallen on our shoulders. It is our time to cross the Delaware. And the battle's not over on November the 2nd. November the 3rd is a brand new day for America. I believe November the 3rd is going to be the time that you and I can truly make a difference. Are you awake today? Yeah. Folks, let's stay dedicated to liberty. God bless you. Stay in the fight.